Well, here we are yet again, another government shutdown. This time we have to remember that we don't have split control of houses of Congress here. No, the Republicans control the House of Representatives, and they control the Senate, and they control the presidency, and are still managing to shut down the government again. Think about that. But here's why this matters to our country, specifically to my state of Kentucky, okay? Because for many people, life goes on, business as usual. But there are a lot of people here in Kentucky, around the country, friends, neighbors, who are affected by these impacts when these politicians in Washington decide to, I don't know, go on vacation like the House Republicans just did while not doing their job. And just for the record, I think no member of Congress should get paid during a government shutdown, period. Okay? But let's review why this matters. We have here in Kentucky 23,000 federal employees. Thousands of workers here in Kentucky and around the country will be furloughed right now. That means that they will be placed on leave without pay, and lots of the services that our fellow Americans need and earned will be affected. This administration that seems so eager to shut down the government has ordered agencies to prepare for permanent job losses in Kentucky and around the country because of this. These mass firings of federal workers are disgraceful. 13,000 air traffic controllers are still going to be working, but without pay. TSA agents, customs officers, they're all going to be working without pay. Paychecks will stop immediately for our military. Here in Kentucky, we have close to 7,000 soldiers at Fort Knox, about 30,000 at Fort Campbell, thousands more DOD civilians and employees. Who else does this shutdown affect? How about needy children? Yes. More than 120,000 Kentuckians rely on food assistance, and that will be interrupted during this time. How about veterans? Yes, veterans making claims for their benefits and call centers to schedule appointments and inquire about our benefits. That'll be scaled back or shut down completely. How about national parks, national historic parks, historic monuments, recreation areas? Maybe you weren't planning on taking a trip to Mammoth Cave this October, but those communities here in Kentucky and around the country who depend on tourism, they're really going to take a hit here. What else? Here in Kentucky, we have over 3,000 Department of Agriculture employees, for example. The Farm Service Agency, they're going to be slowing the Farm Bill programs. This is another whammy to farmers that are already getting schwacked by tariffs. Rural development programs are going to be delayed. Government oversight in inspecting meat and chicken and eggs, that's all at risk. I don't know about you, but I kind of like knowing that the meat that I'm buying in the grocery store isn't infected. So here's the bottom line. This government shutdown stuff is super harmful to so many Americans. The fact that these so-called leaders that we have in Congress can't do their one main job ought to make us all mad. We need better leaders.
So Republicans shut down the government because they're incompetent and hate America. So they're trying to completely destroy it. What else is new? But you know who else is going to be expected to work without pay until certain things get figured out? ICE. Hope the 50K lasts ya.
We are now 13 hours into this Republican shutdown. Democrats are continuing to hold the line in defense of healthcare and ready to negotiate with Republicans to reopen the government and protect people's care. These go hand in hand in this moment, and there is simply no reason why Republicans can't come to the table, be serious about governing, and negotiate a way out of this shutdown. It is avoidable, it is preventable, it is addressable if Republicans choose to do the work. Right now, Delawareans are being furloughed. Right now, Delawareans are about to see massive spikes to their health premiums if they rely on plans under the Affordable Care Act. Right now is the moment to govern. It's the moment to act. And my colleagues and I remain ready to do so. It's on you, Republicans.
Donald Trump officially shut down the government last night. Why? Because Republicans in Congress are spineless. They would rather make healthcare more expensive for millions of Americans because their pretend king wants them to, rather than keep the government open. Democrats were ready to get this done. to show up and negotiate a deal to keep the government open and make sure millions of people keep their health insurance. But Republicans said, quote, it's borderline pathological for Democrats to want to lower health care costs for families. Well, so that's where we are now. Democrats will keep on fighting for a deal that doesn't jack up health care costs and run our health care system into the ground. For us, it's as simple as that.
I can explain why this government shutdown is the Republicans' fault in literally 10 seconds. So instead of working with Democrats to try to help poor people afford health insurance, they said, no, we're going to shut down the government instead and blame it on illegal immigrants. The end.
You're being lied to. First, it was the crack epidemic in the 1980s that led to the war on drugs. Then it was Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction that led to the Iraq war in the 2000s. Now it's, we're being invaded by criminal illegal aliens, and they're taking everything from you, including your health care. It's the same fucking strategy over and over and over, and you motherfuckers keep falling for it. When are you gonna wisen up? If you guys don't know, I'm CFH Unfiltered, combat veteran and former sniper, and I just got back from touring 500 goddamn miles of the border in Texas. And I went to Mexico, into a dangerous ass city in Mexico, to a migrant refugee camp. And I'm telling you right now, they're fucking lying. It's the same shit over and over, and it's the Republicans. Republicans are always doing it, and they are doing it right now with the border crisis and with immigration. Oh, I forgot to mention, I break down my entire border wall experience talking with my wife in podcast form on my Substack. Looks like this. Links in the link tree in my bio. Continue. How many times can you be fucking lied to before you wisen up and get smart? Like, tell me, immigrants do not get free fucking healthcare. God damn.
At midnight tonight, Republicans are going to shut down the United States government. Why? Because they refuse to negotiate with Democrats. They refuse to do their job. Republicans control the House of Representatives and the Senate. And in the Senate, they only need 7 notoriously flaky Democrats to pass a clean continuing resolution that would fund the government through November 20th. But they refuse to do that. They refuse to even talk to Democrats about it. And they've refused for weeks to do so. And they're manufacturing this crisis in the form of a government shutdown so that when this shutdown, which is likely going to be the longest in the history of the United States, is finally lifted, they can say, look at so-and-so, probably J.D. Vance. Look at what J.D. Vance did to end this government shutdown. He was such a great negotiator. He did such a great thing for the country. All the while, Republicans, J.D. Vance included, manufactured this crisis to make themselves look like a savior to the American people. This is a manufactured crisis. Democrats had a bipartisan spending plan in place in June, in the House, in the Senate, and Republican leadership has refused to bring it to the floor of either chamber. They had the opportunity to do their job, and Republican leadership has refused to do their job, to manufacture a crisis, to inflict pain on the American public. Also, somebody that they want in their realm could look good to the American public, and they could claim that he was the savior and he ended a shutdown.
If Democrats cause the government shutdown, why does the Republicans control the House and the Senate? If Democrats were the reason why the government is shut down right now, why was it that the Democrats were all sitting on Capitol Hill all day and all night on Tuesday waiting to negotiate something, and there wasn't one single Republican anywhere to be found? Republicans on Capitol Hill yesterday were like virgins on prom night. Nowhere to be found. The truth is that Republicans controlling the House and the Senate have been able to push through things like the big beautiful bill without any type of stop or prevention. And now Republicans having all of the control in the House and the Senate and a petulant man-child in the Oval Office that basically does whatever he wants are trying to blame the people without the control or the power because they don't have the integrity or self-respect to at least admit that they're the ones that are screwing over the American people. And all of you you Republicans who are sitting here and saying that the shutdown is good or that the Democrats are bad, just realize that it was the Democrats that were sitting on Capitol Hill looking to negotiate hours and hours and hours, and Republicans went on vacation. So while all of these federal employees have lost their jobs or not going to be getting paid for the next how many days until the government actually opens back up, realize the Republicans didn't care about you, didn't care about your job, and didn't care about you feeding your family.
It's official. Republicans failed to bring a bill to the table, and now we're in a Republican shutdown. That means a couple of things. First, it means federal employees and military personnel will have to work without pay. Next, it means you might experience longer wait times at the VA or when you need help with Social Security. Third, it can have significant consequences for our economy. And lastly, it means Congress is at a standstill. I came here to get to work for Oregonians. Speaker Johnson and the Republicans, however, came here to play games. I'm here in D.C. ready to pass a budget that centers the American people.
Hey everybody, the government has shut down, and there's going to be a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there, but I want to tell you 3 things that are important to know. Number 1, this is completely the fault of Donald Trump and Republicans. Why? They literally run the White House, the Senate, and the House. They want to pass an evil bill to take away health care from people. They cannot expect Democrats to vote for a bill that's going to sell out working people just to give billionaires a tax cut. And so we didn't vote for it. But they run the government. It's their job to keep the government open. And so we're in this shutdown because they wanted us to be in this shutdown. Number 2, there's going to be a lot of just different things out there. I want to make sure you know what happens during a government shutdown. If you're on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, different things like that, you're still going to receive those checks. And I just want you to know that, because I know there's a lot of anxiety right now, but those checks will still be sent out. However, a lot of federal workers that are going to still be going to work are actually not going to be able to get a paycheck as long as the government shut down. So when you're in the airport, if you see a TSA officer, that TSA officer is essentially working without knowing if they're going to get their next paycheck on their pay period. And this is the same thing for the federal workforce, members of our military, and different people like that. And so this is not a good thing. A government shutdown is bad for our country. It's a failure of government. And the fact that Republicans want to shut down the government to give billionaires a tax cut and take away healthcare from everyone else is disgraceful. And number 3, my office remains open. I've designated every single one of my employees as an essential employee. That just means they're going to continue to work in this moment. And so if you have any questions, if you read something on Facebook and you're like, I don't know if that's true, give our office a call. Let us know. We're here to help you with the federal government and any questions you have. And for those of you who I represent directly, I want you to know I'm going to stand strong in this moment and make sure that Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress can't bully us into selling out people and getting their health care ripped away. We're going to use the power we have in this moment, but this is a Republican shutdown. Thank you guys, and let us know if you have any questions.
Republicans want to throw 24 million Americans off of healthcare so badly, they're willing to shut down the government to do it. That's literally entirely what this shutdown is about. Republicans' continuing resolution will cause millions of people to lose their healthcare and jack up the costs for millions of others so that their healthcare prices go through the roof. All the Democrats are asking for their votes is reverse those cuts, reverse those cost increases. And what did the president and the White House say in response? Literally, go F yourself. Democrats aren't going to give their votes to that kind of policy, especially when President Trump is on an authoritarian push flouting the rule of law and the Constitution. Republicans want to give more tax breaks to the rich so badly that they're not even willing to consider not throwing 24 million Americans off their health insurance.
Republicans are trying to kick 4 million more people off of the health insurance you have already. Hey, it's Oliver Larkin, Democrat for Florida's 23rd Congressional District in Broward and Palm Beach counties. Like drawing blood from a stone after Republicans already cut $1 trillion from the big ugly bill, now they are coming after the health insurance of 4 million Americans through the Affordable Care Act health insurance subsidies. Let us be crystal clear. This is a Republican-initiated government shutdown that is pausing the incomes of 750,000 government federal workers who have already suffered so much needlessly from the Elon Musk Doge defenestration of our government. Republicans are not going to stop coming after our health care. They take campaign donations from private health insurance, private hospital corporations, big pharma, and for-profit medical technology. They have been co-opted by private special interests in this corrupt post-Citizens United era of campaign finance. How will I respond in Congress? Keep people on the health insurance you have while we fight for Medicare for all with no premiums, no deductibles, no copays, no prior authorizations, vision, hearing, and dental from the day you're born until the day you die. My name is Oliver Larkin. I've signed the National Nurses United Patients Over Profits Pledge to reject money from special interests, including private hospital chains, for-profit health insurance, big pharma, and medical technology. And I'm fighting for Medicare for all and overturning Citizens United to get money out of politics and ensure the public financing of elections. But until then, visit the link in our bio to donate and keep this campaign going.